Okay, well, it is 11 a.m., so we can go ahead and get started. I want to thank everyone for logging in today. This is our first installment in a series that we're calling Career Tips and Tricks from AEYPN. This series is originated with the AEYPN Advisory Board, who hope to provide resources for new and young Realtors Association staff, that's chief staff and staff specialists alike. Each installment will be led by a Realtor Association chief staff or staff specialist who wants to share their NAR resource or experience that they've learned from in their role at the association. We'll be doing these once a month, so from now on, just keep an eye out for more to come. If you would like to see a topic or resource explored on this series, feel free to email me, Courtney Wilson, at cwilson@realtors.org. We will be recording these and posting them to our AEYPN Facebook page, so be sure to check those out at facebook.com/AEYPN. And now let me introduce our first presenter, Tessa Hultz, CEO of the Raleigh Regional Association of Realtors and member of the AEYPN Advisory Board, who will be showing you the rare database, help her in her role guide, and contribute to it, and help your peers as well. If you have any questions during Tessa's presentation, feel free to use the chat box on the right side of your screen, or hold your questions till the end when we'll kind of open it up to a Q&A, and I will unmute your line so you can ask Tessa your question live. And with that, I will pass it over to Tessa. Thanks, Tessa, for being our first one.
Well, thank you, Courtney, and good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this very first webinar. So this is our test one. We'll see how it goes, and I'm sure make some improvements as we go forward. So we were given the option of what great tool or tip did we have, and I selected the Association Resource Exchange, the RARE, as it's also known, because it is an amazing resource for other AEs and for me as well. In the past couple of years, if you're not new but maybe new again, or you're not familiar with this resource, it has been purged and refreshed over the last couple of years. So if you pop in once every 3 or 4 years or something like that, then it's going to look pretty different. And they've made some great upgrades, and we're in the middle of a push right now to get some new information on here. So they are looking for new content, and if you look down here at the bottom, if you contribute a sample by the end of this month, you are registered for a chance to win the 2017 AEI tuition. And I'm not sure if this is a coincidence or not, but also the July AE MVP promotion is if you submit a document, you will get the 2016 Swanepoel report. So there's 2 really great reasons to submit something if you haven't already, but I hope in the course of this webinar today we give you at least another good reason to do it as well. So talking about the Resource Exchange, the first thing to talk about really is going to find something. So under Find Sample Documents, I am a big proponent of search by category. And the reason for that is, and let's go ahead and go into category here. Are we going to go? Okay, there we go. So I'm going to focus on HR. Okay. So searching by category rather than by keyword. One of the challenges is what you call something, is that what someone else would call it? So looking at this example right here, the AE evaluation, which is one of the ones I want to talk about, some people might put that in as CEO evaluation form. Some people might put it in as association executive evaluation form, and then obviously this upload here is for AE evaluation form. So one, you will catch more things if you go by category than by keyword, and also it ends up bringing up other things in that category. So you may have gone in here to find an AE evaluation form, but then the thing right below it is an employee manual, and you go, oh, wow, I might need to take a look at that. Mine is in need of a refreshing, and maybe they have some policies I hadn't considered yet. So I like the ancillary materials, staff review forms, volunteer intake forms. So I'm a huge proponent of searching by category, not keyword. So I want to talk to you about a real world example that I have used this for. Going into our next cycle of core standards, hopefully you all know that now associations need to have policies about annual performance reviews for the chief paid staff. So hopefully that's something that you're already having, that annually you sit down with your review committee committee, personnel committee, maybe it's your executive committee, and kind of talking about what's working well, what's not, what's meeting their expectations, what's not, what are their expectations, and what are your expectations. But if you don't have a process, if you're one of those associations that says, okay, this is something I need to get in place, I'm hoping that this example will help. So we'll click on over there, and that's where you would download that. So the process I like to use with my personnel committees, because every year I have a slightly different mix. My current committee, it's basically my officers plus my past president who serves as chair. So I have somebody who has been off of the executive committee and off of the board in many cases, plus my direct executive committee. So what I like to do is present them with 3 evaluation forms and say, any of these are fine. I'm comfortable with any one. And if I have a preference, I'll state why. I feel that this one goes into more detail on this, or, it has a broader range of performance standards. But at the end of the day, I let the committee choose which form they feel most comfortable and they feel like would do the best job of helping them evaluate me. So then once we have that, I fill out a self-evaluation form, and I recommend to the chair, and of course the chair can do his committee any way he likes, but my recommendation to them is that he has each person on the personnel committee fill out one of those forms independently. So they each fill out their own form based on their vantage, what they've seen over the last year, and kind of their perspective of how I've worked with them, worked with the board, with the staff, and with the membership. Then when they convene for the actual review meeting, they convene with me not in the room, of course, and my recommendation to them is that they go down the evaluation form, line by line, and everybody talks about what they graded, what their assessment was for each of those categories. And because you can end up in a situation to where, 3 people give you an 8.5 on a 1 to 10 scale, and one person gives you a 5. And so that is a great opportunity for the committee to discuss, okay, what did you see that maybe I didn't see, what led to this. And so then what they do is as they're going down and discussing each person's perspective and vantage, they come to a consensus number. So the performance evaluation I've used for the last couple of years does scale 1 to 10. So if you hear me saying number, I'm thinking somewhere between 1 and 10. So they go down and they come up with the consensus. Maybe that person who gave it a 5, wasn't aware of X, Y, Z, or they didn't serve on the board, so they didn't see some new initiatives, whatever that reason is, or maybe the upper numbers needed to come down, hard to say. So they go through, they reach their consensus evaluation. And then that's when they pull out my self-evaluation, because now we're comparing how I've graded myself on all of these items compared to the entire committee, not one person, not just a couple of them, not the ones who are willing to speak up, because they've all had their opportunity. And then it's once they get to the end of that evaluation, comparing myself to the consensus evaluation, that they bring me in, and that serves as the basis for our conversation. If I graded myself higher than maybe they did on a particular item, adherence to strategic plan, then this is an opportunity for discussion. Why did I see it my way? Why did they see it their way? And of course, vice versa happens to where, they grade me higher on something than I graded myself. And, I tell them what I see as the challenge and where I see room for improvement on that. And so it's, by having multiple samples of the AE evaluation form handy and this process, I'm able to help guide my personnel committee to doing a review, because it is outside of their sphere in many, many cases. A lot of times it's independent real estate agents that don't have staff, or if they do have staff, it's an assistant type staff. And either way, it is not running a not-for-profit trade association, which is, very different job expectations. And of course, they're not here in the office. I think with, probably my president is the person I interact the most with, and that adds up to maybe 4 to 5 hours a month out of an entire month. So to have them need to do this evaluation, it really helps if they have a structure and an idea of a path that seems fair and it seems thorough. So this is a site I go to. I go to the RARE whenever it's time to find some new forms, or maybe to take a look at what I've got and look for some fresh ideas, some modifications to the form. So that's one example I wanted to give you that I think is absolutely fantastic, to have this resource to where we can all just share what we have, what we're using. My other example that I wanted to give today is related to policy. If your boards are anything like mine, sometimes when a question comes up, the question I hear from the directors is, how do other associations handle this? And they just want to get an idea of, are we kind of standard, or is this highly variable, and are we going forward with the best idea that we could have? And so policy manuals are a great place to go, and here you will see the Hartford County, Maryland policy manual. And I pulled up specifically the travel reimbursement, because that's always kind of a big question. Do you do a per diem, or do you reimburse, and what counts as a qualified reimbursement? What if somebody brings their spouse and they take them out to dinner? Is that dinner reimbursable? So this is a great place to kind of look for other ideas, and that's whether you are just looking to brush up one policy, or just had a question on one policy, or if you're doing a complete policy overhaul, which we actually did in 2015. We ended up looking at 5 different association policy manuals. For every item in our book, we would look at, kind of the range of how other associations were doing it. And in many cases, we liked the way we were doing it. It was our practice. It was our tradition. But there were other times we went, that is a much better idea over there. So the kind of last note I wanted to make is, and I did upload, this is actually the RAR policy manual. So I added this up to here because I do want to try to win AEI 2017 tuition, as well as, put up something for all of the wonderful benefit I get from the Resource Exchange. So your contributions, no matter what they might be, are very valuable. If you look into the Resource Exchange and go, well, there's already an AE evaluation form, there's already a policy manual, there's already a conflict of interest form, yours could still be very, very valuable, because it's great to have multiple sources to draw from. It's great to be able to look at a couple different examples before deciding which one you want to move forward with. And so hopefully this webinar has given you some ideas of things that you can go look for to help you running your associations, and also some things that you might want to submit yourself. The best job.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and especially for contributing. I mean, I know that there's a pretty solid incentive right now, but any contributions are welcome. Sure. Like you said, anything is helpful, even if it's a repeat. So now we can open it up to questions. Nobody sent anything via chat, but if you do have a question for Tessa, you're welcome to raise your hand or send me a chat. And we can just kind of wait a little bit to see if anything pops up. Otherwise, feel free to email me, Courtney Wilson, or I'm sure Tessa will accept emails with questions as well. We can make sure that those are answered for you. But nothing's popping up, Tessa. I think you covered just about all the bases here.
The one thing I didn't cover, though, was right before we began the webinar, we were looking at this, and the requested samples. There is already a stack of requested samples. So if you don't do anything else, please take a look at this list. See what people are looking for. And if you have something, go ahead and submit it. 1, you'll be helping out another AE. 2, you will get the 2016 SWANPL report. And 3, you will be registered for a chance to win 2017 AEI tuition.
Excellent point. Okay, we've got a question from Margaret. Let me unmute her line.
Hi, Margaret.
Oh, I literally just wanted to say my question was no questions today, and great job, Tessa. So that was my big question. I think that going over the Resource Exchange is super beneficial, and my staff here, it just kind of opened their eyes as well to this awesome resource. So I wanted to say thank you, and I really look forward to this continuing.
Awesome. Oh, fantastic.
Thank you so much. Okay, then that was great. Thank you so much, Margaret. And I think that is it. Our goal is to make these as quick as possible. We don't want to take too much time out of your day, and we want it to be just a nice, concise review of the resources and tips that your peers have for you. So until the next time, Thank you again, Tessa, for being our guinea pig and for covering this so concisely. I appreciate it. And we will see everyone next time.
All right. Thanks, Courtney. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. You too.
Everybody. Bye.